Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Vader Games in the building. You know what it is. Let me make sure everything is clean. Lighting is all right. My mic volume, hopefully the levels are good. First things first, my peoples come first. My peoples. Those of you watching right now, those of you watching on the replay, and those of you supporting the channel in the comments with the likes, and obviously my peoples that help make this happen. Now, it's a little bit of a disaster day. I'll be honest with you. It's Canada Day weekend. Things are kind of in flux a little bit. Originally was looking to do this around 1-ish my time. So obviously that got derailed. But I'm here. It's going to be a short and sweet show. It's going to be a short and sweet show. If I get some of the other agents with me, that'll be fantastic. The link was sent out to them. But I also remember that it is a hectic day. Not everyone's got the time like this. And tomorrow is actually July 4th. So for all my American people, you got July 4th. So that's going to be the holiday and more free time there. But you know what I have to do? Every show, I got to do this right. Every show, I got to do this right. And first, we got to recognize, okay? We're going to have a moment to recognize all of those that are 3-peat Treble winners. Moment of silence. Moment of reflection. Moment of appreciation. 3-peat Treble winners. All right, here we go. Let me shout out the very first, who's supporting CIA this week with the first comment on the channel. You know, I got to shout them out. And this week it happens to be DC. Hello, fellow Blues. Now, DC, thanks for being the first this week, my guy. We got a lot to discuss. If you can see, we're going to deal with. Actually, let me do this properly because it's been a while. It's been a minute, okay? It's been a minute. So we're going to do this properly. I'm going to say what up to DC. I'm going to say what up to Nam. Yo. Love the Abby. DC goes, happy belated Canada Day, Vader. Thank you. It's Canada Day weekend. We got this Monday off, nice and chill. Back to normal tomorrow. Daniel in the building. Big up, Vader, my guy. Always excited for these streams. Listen, Daniel, I know it's been a little... It's like this. It's been inconsistent, but we're here. We're gonna discuss a lot. We got a lot to discuss because it's been a minute, and I'm gonna reveal a little bit with regards to where CIA is going. Okay, where I wanted to go within this upcoming season. Edison, my man, battles IEGA battles. Edison, hope you're doing well, man. I'm curious to hear what you think about your transfer window so far. Your ins, your outs, but we'll get into it. Now, I know you guys can be anywhere in the world. You're choosing to be here, so we're going to do this proper, all right? Those of you new, if you're new to this, hit the like button, subscribe. I'm not on all platforms. If you can do me the greatest honor and share this with the other platforms you're on, love it. Your GCs, anything like that, much appreciated. Because we're growing, and I'm so glad that we're getting to the numbers that we're getting at. All right. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. Okay. Now, you see above me, CIA July 3rd. That's today's date. I'm going to do that more consistently until the season starts. And obviously, when the season starts, we're going to go week by week, week 1, so on. All right. But here at CIA Intelligent Agendas, we don't do it like those other channels. Okay. We're not going to disguise the agendas. We're not going to claim one thing and then do the other, right? We're going to be straight up with you. This is agenda talk, intelligent agenda talk, all right? Not lazy, not fumbling around, regurgitating, no echo chambers, no, you've heard it all before. We're not doing that, all right? We're going to be talking about intelligent agendas based off of what's happening with facts, figures, history. We're not going to skew the truth, all right? But I will tell you this. There's a few managers, there's a few clubs, and as you know, every week we go through essentially the 7 or the 6 clubs, right? And those are our targets. But managers at those clubs right now, some of the things that they've said in the past, they're targeted. They're targeted. I'm gonna give you a little bit of what we're planning, the cases that we're building, the information that we're gathering, and how we're gonna hit them over the head with it. But you see what we're gonna be discussing. Primarily, we're gonna be discussing the transfer spend and player agendas with the transfer spend and those players coming in. All right, we're gonna have to address that properly. I hope you like the training shirt today. You know, hope you appreciate that. Gonna kick the ball around a little later. Oh, Edison goes, my summer is ruined. The heart of the team has been sold to Newcastle. At the same time, we have very promising link players to buy. Edison, I saw that. And Newcastle did that quietly. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't follow your team or your league like that. So I don't know if the rumors were there, but it seemed like Newcastle just did that on the sneak. They did that on the sneak and got it done. I think it's a great addition. Newcastle's they're definitely strengthening for next season. So let me put a couple things on screen. For those of you new to the channel and may not have seen this before. Okay. No, I didn't mean to do that. Now, typically we go over the EPL standings, last game review, a week preview, and expectations. We definitely set expectations based off of what we happen to know. Key targets in terms of where we may see our City executing against certain teams, players they may choose to attack, maybe tactics where we think we can definitely exploit. And then we deal with counterintelligence. All right. We deal with some of the lazy agenda points and we counter them. We counter them with intelligent points. All right. But let me do this. Let me put this on screen. I think I can do this on screen because we should go through things and deal with the first major thing. And I don't know if you're following me on Twitter. If you aren't, please do, because you can get updates with regards to when the channel is going to be going live, some things that are going to be discussed that aren't always mentioned in the topics. But what I want to mention this week in particular, let me make sure that I do this so I don't misquote myself. But we're going to talk about the top transfer spenders. We're going to have to, and I know it's early, but we're going to have to talk about the top transfer spenders right now. And we're also going to deal with, from a CIA standpoint, CIA intelligent agendas. What we're going to deal with is also, we're going to deal with what was discussed last season. And last season was a lot of big talk from Arsenal fans about how is Arteta, Pep's cone boy, going to his first attempt go and win the league and win one league to match what Klopp was only able to do for how many seasons? 7 seasons for Klopp, right? So there was a lot of that talk, right? Arteta, Klopp comparison, Arsenal, Liverpool, both of them last season, Arsenal were to have gotten their Premier League, right? That doesn't go away. Those agenda points, the way Arsenal were trying to crash it on Liverpool, that doesn't go away. So when we look at that, we also have to point out pressure on Liverpool to better Arsenal. Liverpool, manager, fan base, and team need to better Arsenal. They can't afford Arsenal to have a second season ahead of Liverpool, especially if it's to lead them to winning the Prem. Now, I'm going to discuss a few things on why, and I'm going to go through the main 6, right? We're going to deal with Arsenal, we're going to deal with Chelsea, we're going to deal with United, we're going to deal with Newcastle, we're going to deal with, who am I missing here? Who am I missing? Tottenham. Obviously, we're going to deal with us. Do I talk about Aston Villa? Maybe, but we're going to have to deal with all of those teams as it relates to who has the better chance of winning the league, which team has the most motivation to win the league, manager, fan base, length of time since last winning, trophies, who's going to target which trophies in particular, and who, based off of some player exits, are really at a deficit, who are going to have a really tough time to win. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm not being shameless. I need to be accurate with you. Some of you may look at this and be like, Vader, what are you talking about? The fact that no Premier League team has ever won 4 in a row is a huge red flag. It is a huge hill to climb. It's a huge obstacle. So I can't intelligently say that City are favored to win this upcoming Premier League. Statistically, it's just it doesn't add up, right? It's something that's never done before. And yes, I know City's accustomed to breaking records, doing things that have never been done before, right? 100 points, domestic quad, the formidables, you know what I mean? So I know we're accustomed to doing those things, but when it comes down to winning 4 Premier Leagues in how highly competitive this league is right now, look at everyone able to strengthen, able to splash the cash and get more players in this type of environment. I can't confidently say that City are and should be favored to win the league. You guys may disagree with me in the comments. We'll get to it, but that's where I'm coming from. So we're gonna deal with all of that. We're gonna make sure we deal with all of that. And let me actually, sorry, I fell behind on some of the comments. Nam goes, Vader, where do you think we go from here since Gabri Viega, looks set to go to PSG? The fact that he's going to PSG is huge. I crammed, like I did a lot of rushed homework to really get up to speed with him. Talented, and my initial take when I first saw him was like, whoa, I see a little bit of a ball carrier like Bernardo Silva. I couldn't tell the level of work rate, durability, obviously, endurance. Whether he had the stamina to play at that intensity like Bernardo Silva. But in terms of ball carrying, in terms of like taking on players, close control, I kind of put him in that category. So it's tough to see him go. But trust me, a player like that, I think we can find an alternative. Who that is, Nam, I don't know. But I'm not too stressed with him going to PSG. I'm not stressed over that. DC, do we think Bernardo is staying? DC, man. I think he stays. It's going to have to be the right number. The right number is going to have to be presented from any club. And the way they're throwing it out there, he may go. He may easily go. But it's so weird that the talks have kind of slowed down. I'm already prepared. DC, I'm already prepared for him to go. I'm prepared for him to go. I'm prepared for us to essentially play a season without replacing him, unfortunately. Right? I think we may play with younger talent, less proven talent, and we deal with it. Same way we had to deal with, Aguero being hurt and Aguero actually leaving, and we didn't replace as a striker. The same way, we had to kind of choose to play without a left back, right? I think we may do the same thing if Bernardo goes, just to get the right player. Hopefully that makes some sense. No problem, man. Appreciate that. 15, that's cool. Anytime's cool. I'm cool with that. Let me see. DC goes, if Liverpool finish below Arsenal next year, then Klopp is out. If Klopp finishes outside of the top 4 for another season, I would agree with you, DC. It's not so much if Arsenal finish ahead, but if Liverpool finish outside of the top 4 again, I think you're right on that one. Edison, Sandro is the highest Italian player to be sold ever. That's a good thing, though. That's a good thing, though, Edison. If you really think about it, it's a good thing that level of spending is happening, right? With regards to the talent within the league. Correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think that's a good thing. Mo goes, Vader, we're four-peating. All right, Mo. I'm with you with the confidence. All right. I'm with you with the confidence. All right. Like Moses that saw the burning bush and came back all wise, right? You can see the wisdom, right? This is the better. You can see the wisdom creeping in. I'm with you. Like I can see us doing it. I can see us having the ability to do it. It's so early in the transfer window. However, it's so early in the transfer window. I need to see who we keep, right? What talent we keep and what talent we lose. And we're going to have to do a proper breakdown with regards to really who can we afford to let go. And I don't even think, you know what? I'm not even answering that until I know who's coming in. I don't think we make the mistakes of last season. I don't think we make the mistakes of last season where Jesus was out the door, Zinchenko was out the door, Ake was almost out the door, Sterling was out the door, right? Fernandinho had said farewell, and we didn't have things locked up. I don't think we let players go like that without having players coming in locked up. I don't think we move that way. So I gotta wait. For Pete, we're capable of doing it. Setting records, breaking records, we're definitely capable of doing that. Mr. Roll Up 10 goes, City were never fully in for Vega. It's true. We're going to get rumored, we're going to get connected, or they're going to speculate that we're close or talking to many players. Them throwing in the City name is instant validation, instant, like almost like higher ticks in terms of validity and this player being of quality and should be acquired, right? We're going to be rumored to be with a lot of players. I agree with you where it wasn't like, again, trust me, if it was a matter of we need to get that player, it happened. It would happen. I don't think he was like high on that priority list. I like his skill set though. Daniel goes, Vader, we are about to sell James Trafford to Burnley for 19 million. We are getting 10 million from Spurs for Porro. Yeah, that's I don't know why that he wasn't that he was promising, but he wasn't that good. So I'm surprised that they're doing that. And we could get 10 million if Southampton sell Lavia. That's 39 million for players we've never played. Daniel, smart business. You know, winning that net spend trophy again. We're making moves. We are definitely showing not to be top spenders. Obviously, with top spending comes expectations, certain projections, certain obligations. If you spend at that level, you're expected to win. So it's going to be interesting to see the levels that we currently see from Arsenal, we currently see from Liverpool, even to a certain degree. I know there's a lot of exits happening on Chelsea's end, but there's also a lot of additions. It'll be interesting to see where things kind of net out with this team's now expected to do this, right? And we're going to go through some of those transfers. We're going to go through some of those. Daniel, our club is run like a winning machine from top to bottom. Winning culture. Can't say anything more than that. Winning culture. It's what it is. From top to bottom, it just we're layering on that winning way, and you can't really mess it up. I see my man Pitch Points Gundalorian in the background. I'm going to bring him forward. We're going to talk a little bit of this transfer window. We're also going to talk about CIA moving forward. Okay, I'm going to give you a little bit of history with regards to this channel. I looked at connecting with other City fans, right, and those that have been on the show before, and then also on how often I kind of interact with many of them over Twitter. So it's like, listen, we share points of view. We're obviously constantly looking at the landscape, seeing what the rivals are doing against us. You know, let's try to put something together. So this is kind of like that weekly review and preview, and then also with regards to the agendas. I think we're going to do a little shuffle. We're gonna shuffle things up a little bit, and we're going to assign some of the different City fans to different teams, right? so that we have the coverage necessary for some of these teams. So we're going to be doing that moving forward, and I'm excited about Pitch Points, Gundalorian. Thanks for being on the show today, man. How you doing?
Very well, thank you, Vader. Can you hear me clearly?
Hear you clearly, man. Sounds like you're on the move.
I am, but I can hear you loud and clear.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just going through some of the comments right now, some of the comments, because this is kind of like, this is transfer season, man. So there's rumors that are going to be crazy on Monday. Things kind of die down and then they wrap back up at the end of the week. We know what many of these journalists are doing. We know what some of these aggregating, social content creators are doing, and how they kind of they kind of spark things up just to get interactions and engagements. But we always take a step back. I know for a fact, Gundalorian, he's like, let me see the news first, takes a step back, looks it over and be like, this is nonsense because of what I know. This is clickbait, or this is just trying to get a reaction. And I've learned that skill set from him. So let's not overreact with some of the rumors that we happen to see. We'll remain nice and calm. And to Daniel's point, the fact that we're a winning machine, we just need to be nice and calm. These rivals need to move crazy. Because they're going to do anything and everything to try and stop us. Pitch Points will join back. I think Big South Connection is driving. Edison, why isn't Man City going for? Listen, Edison, Carl's back. Edison, we're not in any type of rush. We're not stressing to go after any particular target, because the targets will have to make sense from a skill set standpoint, and they have to make sense from a business standpoint. The numbers need to make sense. So, and what I've noticed, especially when we look at how Rice was played out, City's not going to be in a rush to give that first bid. City's not going to be in a rush to get whatever said player, because if that player really wants, or again, if that club wants to do business with City, if that player really wants to come to City, then you'll see things move quickly. But if it's like club trying to get the best possible number, if it's the same thing for the player, yeah, City's not going to be in a rush to do anything. Mr. Rollup goes, it's going to take a unique deal like a De Jong swap with Barcelona for Bernardo to go, unless he goes Saudi. The number is going to have to make sense with regards to this swap, and I think I agree with you. If we want to say player for player and maybe top up some dollars with regards to Bernardo, it makes sense for Barcelona. Whether they want to do that, who knows? I think De Jong, and many of us have said it. I think even on Pitch Points, Gundalorian has said De Jong over at City would be a great addition. But again, the numbers got to make sense. DC goes, the Rice deal set the bar in a negative way. Now everyone's going to want 100 million.
Yeah, and I mentioned this, right, I think to you and to others, that, this is the summer comp. This is the comparison. This is the baseline for everybody else. Listen, it's a good player, but it's not a $100 million player. It's not a £100 million player. He's not.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's English, if it's Finnish, if it's Welsh or Scottish. He's not. He's just not a £100 million player. I mean, what are we talking about here? If Rice is 100 million, how much is Bernardo Silva? Come on. Huh? What are we talking about? How much is Phil?
I think it's also it's a funny numbers game when it comes to English players with regards to the Premier League. Would a club outside of the Premier League want to spend 100 million on Declan Rice? I don't believe so. So that's where I agree with you, DC. It does set the bar to it can be seen negatively. Obviously, if every club wants to go out there and now demand 100 mil for their players, one, it also boils down to the club that chooses to spend it. All right. DC, we walked away from that number knowing that it didn't make sense. Arsenal spent 105, setting a record for him. They chose to do that. I think the negative kind of way to look at it really depends on those clubs willing to spend it. But I hear you on that one. Daniel, we already made a bid for Rodrigo. He is a winger who was out on loan at Girona. Yeah, okay. He cooked them. I watched highlights of him. His technical ability is insane. I didn't want to butcher how to pronounce his last name, Rakilme. But it's going to be.
Is he already? Is he at Girona already?
Yeah, I believe so. He's on loan there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So is he coming back? What's the deal?
I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to look him up. But Daniel has good contacts in terms of like when he throws out a name. So Daniel goes on to say, I'm on that Rodrigo hype train. His technical ability is insane. Pep could turn him into whatever he wants. All right, I'm gonna look him up, Daniel. I'm gonna do my homework on him for sure.
Well, if he's at Girona already, then the deal's probably done, man. If he's already there, because Girona's part of the CFG, right?
Yeah,
that's the whole
part
idea.
of the group. Yeah. It's just, I just got to look at the skill set. Is he a player that plays centrally? Is he more on the left or right side? It's kind of like keep having some of those things in mind. But I'm not familiar, Daniel. But thanks for the name. I'm gonna look that up. I love the viewers in here with regards to the comments. Julian, 4P and back-to-back UCLs would take us to mythical status. 100%, Julian. 100%. I'm still celebrating, so I'm not actually in the future like that just yet. But an accomplishment, Julian, an accomplishment like that would be, like Daniel just said, that would be insane. Back to back UCL on a 4-peat would be insane. Yeah, I'm not ready to dream about that just yet, but I'm with you, Julian. DC, I still want Kimmich. I'll contribute next month's paycheck if that helps. DC, I think every little bit helps. I know that the amount of last season memorabilia with regards to this upcoming season, I think between you and I, we're going to be helping with whatever deals get made for these upcoming players.
But the comment that.
Oh, you're cutting out.
Back-to-back UCLs.
Yeah. Yep.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you. Yep.
Okay. The comment about the 4-peat and the back-to-back UCL. It's not a far stretch because the reality is that you could actually win the league by Christmas.
Okay. Yeah.
And really, in the UCL this year, the only two clubs that I think are relatively threats are Bayern and Real Madrid. Yeah.
Yes. I hear that.
It's not a far stretch, man. It's not a far stretch.
All right, you hear that, Julian? Julian, what your comment about a 4-peat back-to-back UCL? It's doable. When we look at the landscape, again, transfer window not complete, but initially when we kind of look at who might be the threats, yeah, you're making sense. You're making sense. All right, let me do this. There we go. Sharky goes, Vader, we live. What are Man City's expectations next year for you? Sharky, you're asking me this, and I see Treble Father in the background. I'm going to bring him from backstage just now. Sharky, you're asking me this before the transfer window's complete. And I know I sound like come on, Vader, just give me an answer. Why you got to wait for all the information? Unfortunately, that's how I move. But I will say this. Because of how we're wired, I think we're going to be really motivated with regards to the league. I think we're going to be very motivated with regards to winning this league. Pep can go into that locker room and what he's had to use to motivate players. I almost want to say it's simpler now. It's simpler in terms of we're now pursuing something that has never been done. The way he was able to speak to the club in terms of like pursuing excellence that led to the Centurions, I think he's able to walk in this locker room and say, listen, no English team has ever won 4 in a row. Let's go out. I see us going after that heavily. And this is before the transfer window. And then with regards to the cup runs, if the system that's in place, I think that's where I'm a lot more calmer with regards to cup runs, because I think what Pep has kind of devised, the how we attack, how we defend, I think we're better suited for these cup runs. So I'm confident, man.
I would say one thing, Vader. I think we're discounting, and I see a lot of the furore about, oh, this person didn't come as a signing, or what is GQ doing. I want people to just think about the swagger of being European champions and treble winners and three-peaters, right?
Mm-hmm.
The swagger and the confidence it gives you to step on that field again, to know that you have it in you to go all the way and win it all the way.
Mm.
We haven't even factored that yet. The confidence it gives you on that field to go. We have to think about that as well, Peter.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Now, let me bring Treble Father into the mix. He's had that name before the treble was even actualized. So shout out to him as well as Carl Pitch Points, Gunalorian, have been talking about this treble way before I was like even suggesting it. So props to the two of them. Martin, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you. I've got 2 3-peat treble winners. And I got my man Klilnical, another 3-peat treble winner, joining the show. Thank you all for being here today. Much appreciated. I'm gonna throw this question to you, Martin. You just joined. Sharky asked, "What are Manchester City's expectations next year for you?"
For me personally,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's an hard one to ask me this, because I don't go into this. To do a treble again. Listen, let's get this straight. Let's not. This is the problem.
You don't want to call yourself You don't want to.
Yeah, because nobody's ever done a back-to-back treble. Right. Listen, to do a treble is a once-in-a-season situation. Let's not do this. Oh, I expect a treble every year, because that ain't reality. You are playing FIFA.
Yeah.
You're playing a game of FIFA at this point, lads. Look, this is what I mean. Because all you'll do is, by about Christmas, if we're third, everyone has a meltdown and wants Pep out again. And that ain't no good either. Let's just enjoy what we I said this earlier. My expectation, as long as we challenge, we don't win out. Listen, I've seen everything I now need to see. I'm sort of done my football. I just want to enjoy next season now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing all the furore over all these signings, and it's weird because everyone's McAtee, everyone wants him, everyone wants this kid from Atletico, and it's like, right, okay, let's we've been down this road. A week ago, Fabrizio Romano, City want Gabby Vega. Today, Gabby Vega's on the verge of joining PSG. Mm-hmm. Let's just all relax. Let's relax. Yeah. I'm just going to say something now. There's a key to all these midfielders. City will only do a midfielder on one condition, in my eyes. There's a key to all of this. And I mentioned it last night on our channel with Carlo. Bernardo's the key to all of this.
Mm-hmm.
To bring in a Frankie de Jong or whoever else, Bernardo has to go out the door. They are not going to overload themselves. Listen, Pep likes a small squad. He's not going to go with a 25-man squad of all first teamers and out we roll. We've got 3 extra games. Let's get this straight before anyone says we've got more games. We've got 3 extra games. And one of them is done by August the 16th, is it, Kyle? 17th?
Yes, 16th. Martin.
So let's not buy into this. We've got extra competitions because we've got extra 3 games. Yeah. So
I think he might be. Oh, you cut out a little
Can
bit.
you hear me? Sorry, I just
Yeah.
got a call.
No, you're good. You're good now.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah. So, to me, Bernardo is the key to this because City aren't going to buy a Frankie de Jong or a Rice and all them. To me, the key is Bernardo. Rice was a bit different because it's where you put Rice.
Mm-hmm.
I still look at it and I think, where was Declan Rice going to play?
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Because it's very unlike City to put a bid in and then drop at the first bid. City don't do that.
You know what I thought of recently? That the reason why City were probably willing to walk away from Rice is because Johnny Stones is right there.
Yeah, and this is my thing. In CDM, we're kind of covered. Centre backs, we're covered. Trust me, more than covered. We were joking last night. We're going to have 11 centre backs on the pitch if we're not careful. The way we're rolling at the minute, but everyone's forgotten Alvarez. Everyone's forgotten all his plays. We're having difficulty at the minute. Cancelo and Laporte are not being easily shifted out the door.
Yeah.
Because Cancelo has got a reputation as a bad egg.
Mm-hmm.
And no bugger is willing to pay any kind of fee for him at the moment. That is kind of willing. He's not going to go on pre-season. So it's like, what do you do?
Yeah. Continue speaking. I'm here.
What the club have to do for me is sit with Bernardo at some point very, very soon and go, right, what is the decision? Are you signing your contract? Are you not? If he signs his contract, we don't necessarily need a midfielder. But if he doesn't sign it, then we have to make moves. At the moment, our whole transfer window on midfield is being updated by Bernardo Silva on whether he does or whether he does not go.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
This is the biggest problem right now. For me, this is just for me, Martin speaking. Not, I'm just, because it's a very difficult situation City are in. This is why I've always said, is it tail wagging the dog or the dog wagging the tail? Let's stop this tail wagging the dog stuff.
Well, here's what will happen, Martin. I think you're right. I think what will happen is that the club will give Bernardo a gate to say, listen, buddy, after this gate, you're gone. We have to sell you. We have to sell you. Because we can't put a whole summer transfer window on this decision, whether you're staying or not, because time is going. The more we wait, in fact, last year, even if Barcelona came in at the last minute of the West Ham game, he was never going to go. Too late. We need a replacement. Everybody's gone. So the gate for Bernardo is literally, I think it's the next 2-3 weeks. He has to make a decision either way. If he doesn't make it in 2-3 weeks, he's staying.
And we're already kind of running out of options.
Okay, let me say this though. Let me say this. So if we do give that threshold, a decision's got to be made, or you're leaving by this time, does that then mean you're staying here until January? Like, and then we kind of revisit.
I don't know. I don't know what then the movement is.
Mm-hmm.
Because the trouble is, you can't bring in a Frankie de Jong or a Kimmich, because they're not going to get Kimmich, by the way. Frankie de Jong is on a list. I've had that confirmed to me today. So Carl will be excited. He's on a list.
I'm very excited about that.
They are talking.
Totally.
It's at the stage of Frankie de Jong, have a chat with his agent. Is he interested? Can there be? If Frankie de Jong does not want to leave Barcelona, it's a no-go. And we're dead and buried on that deal. We move somewhere else. This has to be pushed by de Jong. City ain't going to push this a lot. It's a very simple deal. You can kill two birds, one stone. No money has to exchange. You go Bernardo Silva, Cancelo, off to Barcelona, we get Frankie de Jong. And then that solves the wages issues because you get nearly 300 grand off our wage bill. They get 400 grand off their wage bill. No money changes hands. And then you can make the rest up in wages.
Okay.
Yep.
It's whether that they want to do that deal and whether people, because Barcelona have no money. This is you've got with Barcelona, you've got to be clever. You've got to think of ways around to get deals done. They have no money. They don't have a pot to you know what in. So there's no point in sitting there trying to negotiate fees because they ain't got none.
Gotcha. Okay.
PSG have gone off Bernardo now to get Gabby Vega and the other guy they've got. Clearly, Bernardo Silva's not on their radar anymore. So where does Bernardo now go?
Right.
This contract with Bernardo has been on the table for a while. The only thing that changed was they increased the terms of it and bonuses. They gave him a bigger bonus. Still unsigned.
Well, this is
so. What do you do now?
Yeah, this is what I was going to get to with regards to the domino effect, right? Like when we see a PSG go into the player that we were rumored to get then it's like, well, Bernardo Silva can't be a priority if that's a player that you're now adding to the mix, and then the different dominoes are moving. So no, I hear that. I want to bring in my man, Klilnical. It's been a minute. Hope you're doing well. What are your expectations? You personally, what do you, as a transfer window kind of sits right now, what do you expect from City next season?
Well, first and foremost, big up, good evening, and good afternoon to everybody, all the Treble winners. For me personally, what I think is going to happen next season is 2 trophies, including one of the big ones. And this is exactly what I said last season, actually. I said that is what I would personally be happy with. If we get more than that, obviously I'm going to always accept that. But if we do get, say, only the league, or we only win the Champions League, I'm not looking at that as, oh, that's a terrible season. So if we get one of those big ones and then one of the cup competitions, that's a season I'm perfectly fine with.
Okay. One of the big ones, he says. All right.
Let me throw a question at you, Beta, and Klilnical. I know Carl's in the background. Say we don't get who we need. Gvardiol and Kovacic are the only 2 in. Personally, I honestly think we need a couple of more. And I said this to you last season. I think we needed 2 midfielders. And we keep everyone else. That's 2 fresh faces. Good. You're not moving backwards. You're not moving forward as quick as you want to go, but you're still there. Would you be happy with a challenge but no trophies, or is it, because the only reason I'm asking is 98% of that squad have now done the treble, and then you get because we don't know yet what their mentality is going to be. They may come out.
Oh, did I lose him?
People keep calling me.
No worries.
Apologize. People keep calling me. So what I mean is, this goes one of 2 ways. You come out the blocks, they're flying, like Carl says, and we're bouncing and we go again. We have to also consider the other side of it, where they get fatigued. Have they got another 60 games, 65 games in them to go? Why is everyone getting mad?
It's all good.
I'm going to leave and come back.
Go ahead.
Give me 5 minutes.
No worries. I'll answer what you just said.
A popular guy, Martin.
Yeah, he's popular. Actually, I'm away from the comeback, so he hears a response. But I like what DC had to say. He goes, my philosophy is, if we truly need someone, we'll get them. Full stop. Remember, want versus need. I trust Pep, Tiki, and Fran. I agree. When there's a player that's planned, that's a must-have, right? That is a true want, we get them. When it's a true need, we get them. When it's a want, and we obviously have option B, maybe an option C to also go after, we're calm with it. So the fact that all the players that we've been rumored with haven't been coming here, I'm not stressed about it either. This will lead into what Martin was asking me. I think there's a big psychological play here that's probably going to be the greatest test that Pep's ever had. Like, he's going to have to tap into. Here, Martin's back. To answer your question, I think the way Pep's going to have to dial into his coaching, managerial skills to not only get the players that have lived through this 3-peat trouble, but also the new bodies that come to join. Like, this is going to be his greatest test, because again, this is something in terms of whether it's going to win the league or it's going to win the Champions League, like Klilnical just mentioned, go out and win one of the big ones. It is going to be a huge test as a manager to motivate these players and get these players to do this. So there's a huge... And
that's all I mean. That's all I mean by Beta of. I don't mean it as in trying to be a negative person. I'm saying, you know, it very much could be the complete opposite, and we do a Liverpool where they're just completely tapped out of energy,
right?
And they can't go anymore.
Yeah.
So, and this is what I mean. It's just my philosophy. When you are on top, there is no better time to refresh.
Yeah, I agree with
you. Because you want that You want players who've not done what this other set have done. If you're only adding one or so, it's majority still where you're at.
Mm-hmm. No,
so then you've got to try and get them to go again somehow.
Exactly.
And you got to. They've had no rest as well.
Well, this is what I want to emphasize. This is what I want to emphasize, because again, here on CIA, we're intelligent with it. None of us will forget Pep deliberately in pre and post match press conferences talking about not seeing his team, talk about not seeing the players do what's being asked of them. He's not recognizing the play on the pitch. All of that is what he's had to deal with. So it's not like these players were doing things like they were accustomed to doing. He had to get to them and tap into them motivationally. And I think he's going to have to do that even at a greater length this upcoming year. So it's going to be a big test. Let me shout out Zane in the building. Zane goes 100 million is the new 60 nowadays. Zane, I cannot disagree with you more. 100 million is still 100 million, man. If these clubs choose to spend it, they choose to spend it.
It's kind of right.
But is it? I don't.
Well, you name me a midfielder you get for under, who is quality for under 100.
But look, when we see what Liverpool just did with McAllister,
that was a buyout.
Okay, it was a buyout.
That was because McAllister was clever, and that was all preempted in January. That we've since come out and learned.
Now, would you believe though that if he were to come out this summer, that he would be 100 million?
I think it'd be about 80. Look at Caicedo. You look at Caicedo at Brighton. Tony Bloom has come out and said 100 million.
Yeah,
doesn't move.
And I think this is what I think is funny. I think the landscape of football is so worldwide, right? And I love the City Football Group and the network that's being achieved, right, or that's been established. I get the occasional commercial tie to some of these buys, to some of these player acquisitions, but we can choose not to shop at Whole Foods. We can go to a local grocery. We can go somewhere else. We can maybe go a little further to get something a little cheaper. That's where I think if you don't want to spend 100 mil, go out and get someone that's quote unquote not as established name-wise. Trust your scouting, trust your network, and get someone else. I don't think we need to be spending this 100 mil.
I'll be honest with you. I think when City come calling for a top player, it's minimum of 50, 60, minimum.
Okay.
And the problem is, if you are looking at a Gomez or like this Riquelme or someone, you can get them for 15, 20 million. And Alvarez, because of where he came from. If you go to South America, you'll get them a lot cheaper if you get them from source. If Alvarez had come to Europe, say played at Atletico Madrid for 2 years, he would not have gone for 14 million quid.
I agree.
Because that's what Brighton are very good at. Brighton don't wait for these lads. Some clubs in England wait for these lads to come from Argentina and Brazil or Ecuador, go into the Premier League, like they did with Caicedo. See if he's any good. Can he do it?
Exactly.
And then we'll buy.
Right.
The trouble is, Brighton, who took the gamble on the £5 million, because that's all he was, by the way, 5 million quid.
I'm with you.
They took the gamble, but because of their good scouting network, because they can. Because their expectations are so much lower and they're shopping at such different areas, it's a very different proposition. So City go, all right then, we'll have a look at Caicedo. Well, hang on a minute. But very much like Enzo Fernandez. If City wanted Enzo Fernandez, they could have got him for 20 million.
Exactly, Martin. You're proving my point, though. Because again, clubs can have the convenience of waiting until someone's proven, and then
but they're not always out there. They're not always out there because the problem is someone like a Caicedo would rather probably go to a Brighton, play football, first team football for a year or two, and then move.
Right.
If you're Caicedo and you're 5 million quid from Ecuador, you might not think I'm not ready to go into a City team, a Liverpool team, whoever team.
No, Martin, no.
But that's part of it. You tell me why no top team does what Brighton, Villa, or someone else does. Even Villa are changing it a bit. They're now going direct. They're now shopping at different levels.
So again, I believe it's a matter of trust and confidence in their own scouting and staff, because we have a great example: Enzo Fernandez, Julian Alvarez, and Maximo Perrone. Recognizing all of that talent, 12 months ago or 18 months ago?
Perrone's going on loan, by the way.
Exactly, but to take the chance, acquire them, even if it's to send them on loan, you still have acquired that player before they've gotten quote unquote proven, and now you're paying. Now you're paying.
He's taking that gamble. Yeah.
Fair enough. So I'm just saying, with regards to Zane, I'm just saying this 100 million retail price, if clubs wanted to, they could be buying it wholesale or buying at the source and not having to play this premium. The premium.
Do you think that for a ready? Sorry to interrupt, but
yeah.
I'm trying to. I think I've not worded it right. I think you can get away with a squad player like that.
Yes.
A Perrone, Alvarez. It sounds so bad to call him a squad player, but he was not a first team player, if that makes sense, as in a first 11 player.
No,
I'm talking about for a Bernardo Silva is a straight first 11 replacement.
Okay, if you're gonna go to a Monaco again, if you're gonna go to a Lille or a Lyon, and you're gonna want to get someone that was tearing up their league to want to come over here, again, 100 million, no, but yeah, you're gonna be paying in the range of 60 plus. Yeah,
that's all I mean. I'm talking about. I'm only talking as a Bernardo replacement.
Yeah, I hear you.
As in, to get a Bernardo replacement, you're gonna play big money.
Yeah.
Because that's the guy you want straight into your 11.
No, I'm with you.
I think the other ones with Alvarez, Perrone, you'll get them deals. Because their expectation is not to come in and score 50 goals or rip up the midfield, if you know what I mean.
Exactly. No, I'm with you on that one. Sorry for the little bit of the tangent. Go ahead, Klilnical.
Well, just to add to that, I still don't think that necessarily means Zane's comment was incorrect per se. Because if you look at it from equivalency, using Alvarez as an example, we paid like 14 million pounds for him thereabout. He could have said 14 million is the new 3 million. Because if you actually look back before the market got to the level that it is now, a player that look at Kaka is an example I like to use. When he went to Real Madrid, he costed 60 million back then. A player of that caliber now in this market is far upwards of 100 mil. So I think it's more about the inflation that the market has seen over the years.
All right.
Because back in the day, a player like Alvarez, for his level that he's played at and his level of ability, clubs back in the day would have been paying 3 million for him or something in that region rather than a 14 mil. So it's really just the equivalency of how the business is done.
I'm with you on that one. I think. Yeah, where I was a little hung up with Zane's point is if he was talking even just like 5 years ago, as opposed to, and with regards to Kaká, that's many more years. That's many more years in a day. But yeah, if I should have asked him nowadays, what did he mean between the two? But yeah, we're kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah, inflation's a massive thing. The inflation is so huge because if you look at United, they buy Sancho with 75, 85 million. They're looking at offloading him for 45. This is the problem. It is. Listen, I'm going to admit something now that I've never admitted. Do I think Grealish was a £100 million player? No, I don't.
No. And even at the time, you wouldn't have to say that now. Back then, you said,
Declan Rice is very different. Declan Rice is English and he's Premier League's Premier League. You are paying an extra 30, 40 million for that. Yeah. No. So this is. I just think for City to drop at the first bid for Rice, either Rice didn't have the confidence in doing the job, and that was because it's weird because
but this is unpopular. But he chose whether you want to argue projects or whatever. His life at Arsenal and what he's gonna be asked to do, the challenge that he may be tasked with in terms of evolving as a player or certain roles or even competing for playing time is very different. He's guaranteed. He's almost
Yeah.
guaranteed to start over there. Whereas here, it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to be on rotation under Pep.
That's the argument with EDS, isn't it? McAtee and Doyle and all, everyone goes, the ballers, the brilliant players for EDS.
Mm-hmm.
That's EDS.
Yeah.
There is a massive step to Manchester City's first team.
Yeah.
In fact, it's not a step, it's a chasm.
Fair enough.
It's a chasm.
Let me get to the comments. DC goes, funny how we haven't heard Arsenal are ruining football. Whining like we heard about City with Grealish fee, eh? Gosh, it's almost like there's double standard. DC.
It's not signed yet.
No, he's not, but we know they're just ironing out. So I think they're just ironing out the spec.
From the West Ham end, they're getting very, very angry.
I think, because I don't think the amount of spend that they wanted in the early window is happening. So Arsenal's kind of jerking them a little bit. DC goes, DC wants to shout out. Hi, Martin. You all right?
Evening.
He says evening. Daniel, he is an Atletico Madrid player who was out on loan at Girona this season. We're negotiating with Atletico to bring him to the Etihad. He is 23 years old, winger. Check CityXtra. All right, fair enough, Daniel. Mr. Rollup goes, Riquelme is an Atletico. Oh, they're talking the same thing. Let me see here. Oh, Alec Johnson in the building. Hello, Vader, my guy. DC goes, here's my weird prediction. We'll have a better chance winning the CL again than the Prem. We'll have that conversation. No need to rush to get to it. Now, this is what I want to do. Say, let me take this comment off screen. Now, when we look at the amount of spend, and I know Zane said 100 mil is more like 60 mil these days. I hear all that, but we still have to look to what some of these tallies are leading to. And I want to point out that, yes, the transfer spend so far looks to have Arsenal moving very aggressive. We can also look at Chelsea. Chelsea's had a lot of exits, which they've had to do. And they've also had some additions. So their list of, I'm gonna get to that. And so their list of arrivals for Chelsea. I won't even deal with the outs. We'll deal with the outs on another show. I want to be cognizant of time. But Chelsea's already added a 17 million player in Kendry. They've spent 52 on Nkunku, and they spent 30 on Nicholas Jackson. So that's just Chelsea, and they've had a lot of exits. I got to be real with you. They shipped off Kai Havertz to Arsenal for 65. Kosovic came to us for 30 mil. So just in terms of those exits alone, you can see they've got to balance things out. And there's a laundry list of players that they've just released, right? But Liverpool, Martin wanted to point out, Liverpool, even with the McAllister deal, they were smart with it. That was 35 million. And more recently, another player, we're rumored to a player from RB Leipzig. They've actually acquired a player from RB Leipzig in Dominic. I don't want to butcher his name, but I'm going to say
Szoboszlai.
Oh, you emphasize the I. All right. Szoboszlai. He's for 60 mil. So Liverpool have already spent 95 million at the start of this transfer window. This spend, in my eyes, how we're going to look at things, it's obviously very aggressive. Early in the transfer window, 95 mil spent from Liverpool. If we want to tally and say, what is that, 170 mil from Arsenal? Yes, not officially. Rice isn't there yet, but we know that they submitted 105 for him, and they've already spent 65 on Kai Havertz. These are teams that are spending heavy in this transfer window, and at that tally, that sum, it can't just be to compete, right? Arsenal fell short last season after leading for 93% of the season. And I think other than Chelsea were top spenders last year. I think they spent almost 600 mil. Next to them was Arsenal. Arsenal have been spending consistently 100 plus the last 2-3 seasons. It's getting to a point where for them, it's winning the league. It's not challenging. All right. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on CIA with regards to the spend on Arsenal, Liverpool in particular. They're spending very big so far. Obviously, United, Chelsea. We're going to keep our eyes on what Newcastle do, as well as I think we still need to keep an eye on Tottenham. Talking amongst the GC, they think that there might be an exit of teams to focus on. Tottenham falling to the wayside, and Newcastle and maybe Aston Villa being ones to keep in mind. So we're going to keep an eye on transfer spend. We're also going to build. I wasn't able to add this in, but we're not only going to have transfer spend reviews. We're going to look at player agendas because of the players that are now coming into certain clubs. And on top of that, we're going to be keeping an eye on how these managers are talking within the press. For example, Ten Hag spoke of eras coming to an end. I think many took it as him speaking to the Manchester Cities, maybe the Liverpools. But he said that last season, and what did we end up doing? Winning a 3-peat treble. He may be forecasting, maybe not on purpose, but the end to his era or United's era to continue. They're spending like they're trying to prevent it. We'll have to wait and see. A lot of their hopes on Qatari ownership. We'll see where that nets out, and we'll continue to monitor that. But
I think on that specific question, he was asked about City and Liverpool. They had asked him, you've seen the dominance that both City and Liverpool have been, showing in the league in the past couple of seasons. What does he plan to do on his first season? And that's why he said, he admires what we've done, but eras do come to an end. So I think that's why a lot of people were looking at him to, immediately go into a title race, because I guess a lot of people interpreted it as he's coming now to end the era.
Yeah. No, he's speaking in a way to do that, and he talks a big game. So we're going to have a more emphasis with regards to that, because again, manager agendas are going to need to be executed with precision, because I don't like how some of these managers are talking about our club and our manager as well. So we're going to keep that in mind. Let me say this. Nam goes, Vader, do you think James McAtee has a chance to be in the first team? I think he was Sheffield United's player of the year last season. Like Martin said, McAtee, a lot of us say he's a baller, and he can play. He's got quality, he's got skill set. He jumps off at the pitch when you watch him, especially when he's playing amongst his age group. The challenge is the quality that we have at Manchester City. So I would love for him to make his way back, fight to remain on the squad. It looks like
Do you think he will?
Do I think he'll make the squad, or that he'll be coming back to fight to try and make the squad?
The reason I ask is, where did he play predominantly for Sheffield United?
Wasn't he more on the left?
It was more sort of wing. Yeah. Sort of wing. Problem is,
he's in Grealish space, wasn't he?
Yeah. Trouble is, you got Grealish. People now, again, funny this. Do you remember I was said about pre-season? If people will see people performing and then suddenly want to keep them. It's gone earlier. We're now doing it in the under-21s. So Gomez has scored a couple of goals from the 21s, and now everyone wants to keep Gomez again.
Well,
so this is my problem.
Let's tell everybody, because Gomez was playing left wing. Gomez was playing left wing in that game. So yeah, there's a lot of hype. You
can't have Grealish, Gomez, Mahrez, bring in this Riquelme. Oh, and then I want McAtee added in as well.
Yeah, but
it don't work. It isn't. My point is, McAtee's not gonna play 40 games for Sheffield United and then come and sit on our bench to do a Palmer role.
Yeah.
That is going backwards in a player. So For McAtee to come, he has to see a route to the first team. If he sees City buying £15 million young lad wingers, well, he's probably thinking, hang on a minute, well, where's my role here going?
Yeah.
You're keeping Gomez now, where's my role going?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. I've always said this. If City send them out on loan, 9 times out of 10, they ain't coming back.
I think that was... Yes. That may change, though. That may change because of the amount of quality that we continue to produce. It's a good practice to send them out on loan and still have the ability to bring them back to us. And I think that may
Name me one. Name me one.
What do you mean, name me one?
Name me one who's been out on loan and come back.
Well, they've come back, but they haven't stayed. Like,
no, that's what I mean. Who's come back and got back into the first team? Lavia? Nope. They've ditched Lavia. They've decided Lavia is a no-go. This is what
I mean,
to me, I've come to a decision of if Pep wants to keep you, he'll keep you because you're going to learn better around that first team than you would just there into the Championship.
Yeah,
I can see McAtee having a very good career at a Brighton, a Villa, maybe not even a Villa, but a Brighton. Is he ready for Manchester City level? I know this is going to hurt many, but I don't think so. Same with Palmer. Don't think he is ready. And it's sad to say, but it's really sad because I would love, you know me, I'd love 11 Manx in there or 11 homegrown lads.
You know
Not Manx, but 11 homegrown, but I know it ain't reality anymore.
You know what? I do disagree with the Palmer, though. I think if it were not for the quality of a Grealish and a Foden, Palmer would remain.
But that's the problem.
Yeah. I think it's because of Grealish and Foden. But I like Palmer's skill set. I really do. Let me go to the comments. Let's see here. Ethan's in the building. He goes, all trophies are ours next. Okay. I love the hype. We won't be 3. He says, keep Phillips. Yeah, we're keeping Phillips. Phillips is going to fight for a spot. Silva, I don't know if we keep him. I totally disagree with you with regards to Cancelo. I think Cancelo is bye. Can't do that to my manager. Can't. See ya.
He wants him.
And you know what, Ethan, you know what's another thing? You can't do that to my manager and then while at Bayern talk about Tuchel bringing a Champions League. Like, no, stop it. We could still get Rice. Ethan, no, that ship has sailed. Double pivot. Yeah, there was a lot of rumors with regards to that. But at the same time, when we have a John Stones who was the best midfielder, yeah, I said it. He was the best midfielder, or the next best midfielder. He was the best midfielder when compared to Inter in that Champions League. So might we be seeing a new evolution to John Stones? Who knows? DC, I agree, Martin. I feel things are being held up by Bernardo. I love the guy, but enough is enough. Yeah, a lot of us feel that way. Alec wants to say Martin speaks sense. He speaks sense.
I'll pay you later.
Ethan goes, we don't need De Jong. Okay. I'm just catching up with the comments. Nam goes, I doubt Frankie De Jong wants to come to Manchester City, especially his wife who doesn't fancy the place. That's a possibility, man. You got to need a happy wife for a happy life.
Some of these men need to man up. Sorry, I'm sick of these footballers bowing down to the wives. Man up here.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. Alec goes, I trust Pep, Tiki, and Ferran. They are winners. Agree. MCFC 9320 podcast. Please go and support that channel. Subscribe to them. He says, good evening, mate. Thank you so much for being here. Martin has a sigh. DC, hi, Andy.
Don't say hello to him.
No, don't say bloody hell, not Martin again. Jokes. Let me say this. He's actually saying hi to everybody. Alec goes, hi, Andy, mate. Mr. Roll Up, James Trafford to Burnley for 15 mil plus 4 mil add-ons. Here we go. Ooh.
Oh, that's changed. I thought he was off to Leicester. That means Leicester may be doing. I know Southampton have bidded 10 million for Shea Charles.
Okay.
Another one about youngsters.
Okay.
See, that's the trouble with Trafford. Trafford's come in and said, "I want first team football."
Mm-hmm.
The City have gone by that.
You can't be mad at that. You can't.
Exactly. This is the trouble with EDS. They're not boys forever. They grow to men and then they want to play.
Yeah. Because again, careers are finite. These players have to do the best decisions. And again, because it's also about you gotta play. Like that's how you get better. It's not what you do on a training pitch. You actually have to be in game situation. And these players know it. So hopefully they're sent off on, obviously when they're sent off on loan, they're not forgotten. When they do go to another club, we kind of keep good relationships. And again, because we don't keep any players back, we get future young talent wanting to come to the club to take their chances and move on. And then, the cycle continues.
Exactly. It's a meat factory.
Yeah. Yeah. Danny goes, I want Oscar Bob in that first team squad next season. Huh.
I think it will be.
First team?
Oh, he said first team squad.
Oh, first team squad. Yeah.
You got to remember, Pep likes...
Yeah,
he likes 2 or 3 EDS on the bench. Yeah. This is why, you notice, the EDS gets shipped and 2 more come onto the bench.
Yeah. Yeah.
So...
Oh, Marvin goes...
Would you guys rather keep Oscar Bob as that one academy youngster or James McAtee if you had to choose just one?
Ooh. Oh. I mean, I would look at it with who would get the most chance to play. And you know what? I think McAtee would play more. I think McAtee would play more because let's think about it. If we've got okay. If you know what? This brings us all back to the Bernardo conversation. Because Bernardo's kind of like in limbo. I think if Bernardo's gone, that's way easier to answer. With him here, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at that.
There's kind of one thing. Yeah. They're at different stages. Oscar Bob is where McAtee was 18 months ago.
Fair. That's fair.
McAtee's already ahead of Oscar Bob. Yeah. So what you'll find with Oscar Bob is he'll come into the first team squad for the season. Pep will analyse him for a year. Mm-hmm. If he feels he's not ready, he will be the next one who'll go out on loan.
Yeah.
This is a pattern. I don't know if anyone's noticing this. There's patterns here. 2 get brought in. We watch for a year from EDS. If they're not ready, they go on loan. Generally they're gone then.
Let me ask you, the 2 of you, this, Klilnical and Martin. Would you prefer some of these loan moves to be in the league or to be the division below?
Well, for me, there's 2 things I'm considering when we're loaning a player. Mm-hmm. One thing I was concerned about for one of them was the style that the team plays.
Yeah.
And I was looking at McAtee at the start of last season. He wasn't playing for Sheffield. And that was a bit of a concern for me because they play with a midfield 5 and he's usually playing as a cam. And you normally play with a cam most of the time. So I was wondering like where is he gonna fit in if he goes like a Delap and doesn't play any minutes for the whole season, then this whole year was a waste for him and he's gonna actually be backwards in his development. Mm-hmm. But he fought his way into the team and he went on to become player of the season apparently. So if we can find a team, whether in the Premier League or in the Championship or even in another league, like the Portuguese league or whatever, that they play a similar role that we would need them for, and they have a year of that developing, then I wouldn't really watch where they're going, and additionally if they get playing time as well. So that's the 2 things I'm looking at.
Okay. What about you, Martin? Would you prefer the loans to be within league or outside?
Within the leagues.
Yeah.
But it has to be at the right club. If you notice, we loan to certain clubs, Burnley, companies there. Leicester, you'll see a couple who go out to Leicester. Maresca's there. Southampton, because our former academy director's there. There's links. There's links everywhere.
Okay.
And all I will say is about, it's very difficult in EDS. Because remember, everyone was raving about Adoza. Remember, Patrick, Adozi's my guy. Dozy can't wait. Dozy's that and the other. Hardly played for Southampton.
Right.
Wilson Esprand. You know, this is what I mean. People, it's such a jump. It's such a jump. And you're not asking them just to come into a Brighton or a Villa. You're asking them to come into a Pep Guardiola Manchester City team.
Right.
That is start. You know, we've seen seasoned veterans come in and struggle to adapt.
Yeah.
These kids don't. It's such a chasm. It's so sad, but exciting. We're not Manchester City of 20 years ago anymore. We are now Manchester City in the same essence of Real Madrid, Barcelona, all these teams.
We got to do things smart.
To get into our team, you have got to be outstanding.
And I think there's going to be an interesting way on how Pep's looking at. I'm gonna bring Carl back to the show. It's going to be an interesting way on how Pep, as well as the club, look at the players that are going to be coming in, with how the players are going to be phasing out or moving on. Right, like this is in no sign of disrespect, but we know that KDB cannot play for us forever. So the same way we've had to accept and seen the departure of a Yaya Toure, a David Silva, we're going to have to look at Gundogan and how he's left, to then also accept that KDB is going to be moving on as well. So
spot on, and this is why. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. I do apologize.
No, you're good.
But this is why I want City to get someone in this summer. One, because of you just said about KDB. You can use Foden to adapt. So get the replacement in now for Foden. But a simple fact is, right now is a midfield market. Every top team is buying midfielders.
Yeah.
We come to it next season that you're back at slim pickings because everyone's gone. Everyone's gone then at that point.
Yeah,
So you have to go, right, where do we go now? Gvardiol is a world-class signing, do not get me wrong. But to me, I'd rather the midfielder than Gvardiol. And that sounds so daft.
Really?
Yeah, because defence is not actually a problem.
It's not a problem, but when
I'm looking at it from a manager's point of view of, I can see where my road bumps are down the road.
The only issue, Martin, with it is you want Guardiola now because you don't want anybody else to get him.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah. But
what I mean is, a midfielder to me is more crucial than centre back. But Gvardiol's coming in to stop somebody. Gvardiol's coming in to stop somebody else picking him off.
Yeah,
so I get that.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it from a manager's point of view of KDB's 32. So Bernardo can't make a bloody decision. So I need to adapt early and go early.
You know what, my opinion is very clear with Bernardo. Make him an offer he cannot refuse. Period. That's it. Make him and his wife an offer that they cannot refuse. And there are ways to do that, Martin. There are ways to do that. There are wages, there's bonuses, there's stuff that you
They've done it. They've done it. It's on the table, Carl.
No, not to the level that we're talking. I mean, he's right now.
What level do you want? 350 grand a week? Yeah. They ain't going to give him that. Yeah. They're not going to give him that. No.
How much is a Bernardo replacement worth today? And what's going to demand his wages? Seriously, think about that. On the market today, a player like Bernardo, how much would it cost us, and how much in wages? Right now, he's on 120. Double it.
Well, they have. The contract's on the table. It's unsigned.
I don't know if it's double the amount though. Give him 250. Give him 275, and tell him that's baseline plus bonuses.
Let me deal with this one comment and then I'll catch up. One sec. Let me.
And Vader, I'm at the doctor right now, so maybe I'm right. Bernardo's worth
He's 3 players in one.
But my issue with Bernardo is, Carl, is not. If he said it's about money 3 years ago, and every year consecutively, I'd go right, offer him the money. Because we give him 270 grand a week doesn't make the Manchester weather change.
But it makes him up. It makes it easier to deal with.
No, I know, but it then becomes a different. For me personally, it becomes a morality issue of you've just money grabbed. You've money grabbed.
But that's all the players' money grab. And Holland is on 3,000 a week. Bernardo, Kevin's on 3. I mean, Bernardo is so critical. You can't find another Bernardo. He's so critical to the way we play that he's worth that investment. He's worth it. He's worth the hassle.
I know. I'm only saying because I've heard it all with Aguero. David Silva was irreplaceable. All these were irreplaceable, and we got better.
Yeah, but Bernardo is different, mate. Bernardo is still 29.
David Silva was 1,000 times better than Bernardo.
Yeah, not in the position that Bernardo plays. No, Bernardo can play out wide right. What he does on the ball. David
Silva played out wide.
No, not the way Bernardo can do, man.
Yeah, there's a different.
Sorry. David Silva was El Mago and was right.
He was.
Put it one way, Carl. One's got a statue. One will not get a statue.
Yeah, but
there's a difference.
But the energy that Bernardo gives, David Silva doesn't have it.
It's different. Yeah, different.
But Bernardo doesn't have the skill set of David.
He does. Of course.
Does he? Yeah. Does he yell?
No.
Bloody yell.
We're not gonna.
Does he?
I digress. But my point is that if Bernardo is available, making him an offer he can't refuse. You seal Bernardo this summer for the next 3 years, your midfield's done. Now, what's the name? Foden can play out wide right. Then you have De Bruyne, and you have Alvarez. Then you have Jack Grealish. You got Erling Haaland playing. You got Kovacic, Rodri, Stones, Guardiola, Ake, Diaz. I mean,
do you think that's enough to compete then?
It was this year.
Yeah, but everyone's getting a lot. Liverpool are going to be a lot better, Carl. Newcastle are going to be a lot better. But people are going to improve, and if we're not, well, like I said, you stand still, you get left behind.
I agree with you, but the beauty of Liverpool getting better is Liverpool takes points off Arsenal. They take points off Liverpool.
I'll be honest with you. I think Liverpool will be our main challengers next year.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. 100%.
So I'm just saying that for me, look at Arsenal. They're about to spend best part of 300 million.
Arsenal won't make top 4 next season.
My gosh, guys.
I think they've got to make top 4, or Arteta won't make Christmas. You can't spend 300 million and not make top 4. Gee whiz.
Arsenal are making top 4. They have to.
Of course, they're making top 4. Listen, I'm going to put my buy side. Arsenal will be up there. You don't spend what they've done and what they've got and not be up there. They'll be up there. Liverpool will be back up there.
You also don't lead the league for 93% and fall off a cliff. They're not falling off.
Yes, you can. That's Chelsea. They'll tell you that you do.
Yeah, but Chelsea will come back, Carl. Chelsea aren't going to be down there forever.
Yeah, I agree with you, but hear me out, right? I mean, you think Arsenal are going to beat Liverpool, once and a half? You think they're going to beat Chelsea twice? They're not going to do that. Arsenal's not going to do that next season.
I don't think.
But that's the idea of them spending 300 million, isn't it? They're spending this money to bridge that gap.
Let me do this. Let me say this real quick because I want to shout out. I want to shout out Mo. Mo goes, now I'm sick of this Bernardo drama every summer. We shouldn't need to sell the project.
Exactly. This is my point to it.
Nothing will.
You know that girlfriend that you had, Vader, that you always liked, and she just always give you the eyes, and still was always kind of there in school. That's Bernardo Silva, man. Beautiful. You love her. She gives you all the trouble, but you still want her. Right?
Oh my goodness. Continue on. I gotta accept this call.
He's got a song, so he can do whatever he wants and roll us. He's got a song. No, listen, I get it. I'm a little bit where my Joyce is. I'm bored of this now. I understand what you're saying, Carl. But to me, it can't be a money issue anymore. City would have done this a long time ago if it was a money issue. And he's now married. They're now married. It's got worse. They're no longer a girlfriend and boyfriend. They're married now. So now he has to do as she says. Now he's got no bloody choice. He's married her now.
there's always that player who gives you trouble. There's always that player who gives you trouble. He's just one of them. Maybe because I have a soft spot for Bernardo because,
No, Carl, I get it. Every fan. Listen, I'm in the minority with it. I know I am. I'm just at a point of, I'm bored of this every window. Because you'll hear it again in January. If he doesn't move this summer, it'll all come again in January.
The weird thing about
I agree with
when
you,
Bernardo
Martin,
steps on the field, when he steps on the field, we see him 110%. He just gives it all on the field. So the off-field stuff is hard to manage, but on the field, the guy just delivers. I mean, think about that Liverpool game at Anfield, the 2-2, when Bernardo weaves away. I mean, think about that. He just delivers, right?
I think wherever this drama goes with Bernardo, I'm kind of like I'm removed from it. Like I don't allow it to get invested anymore. I do want to say
sitting on that fence again.
in a way, but I do want to say this. Because we're going down the whole team predictions, and we will definitely get there. It may happen on the other channels sooner, but I want to kind of hold off a little bit before we talk about it.
I'm waiting till the transfer window shuts, and then I'll sit and make predictions.
When is it shut, Martin? When does it shut? I'm tired of
September, August 31st. No, but the one thing I will say, City don't generally do deals when the season starts. Akanji was a complete one-off at the time because if you remember, we were all shocked.
Yeah,
because City don't generally buy when the season kicks off. We're generally more
bought him after
done by them.
But yeah.
So, I mean, for me, it's a very simple thing. Like I said earlier on, you say to Bernardo, here's the contract. We're not offering anymore. Yes or no. You've got a week. Decision time, or we move.
Yeah, there's going to be a point where it's going to be an
ultimatum. We cannot stop everything because of one player. The
reason why I think this tilts in our favor is because who's going to buy him except for Saudi? Who?
Yeah.
It's an easy deal, Carl. Me and you have said this 1,000 times.
Frankie?
You knock on Barcelona's door and you say, Bernardo Silva, João Cancelo, see you later, we'll have Franca. Because Frankie can't stay at Barca forever because he's going to bankrupt him if he does.
I'll take that deal.
Yeah.
Frankie cannot stay at Barca forever. He will bankrupt him.
But aren't we going to have another player that doesn't want Manchester City weather? Sorry, I shouldn't have done
all right, then. No, honestly, who'd you buy then? This is my question to everyone. If Bernardo leaves, who do we buy? Who is out there?
Veta.
Yeah.
Hold on. You're making 300 bags a week. You're telling me about the weather. Seriously. Come on, guys. What are we talking about?
I think I agree with you. I think there needs to be a time. Here's the deal. Here's what we're putting in front of you. You accept it. If it's not accepted, you're out the door. But here's another thing. Do we have him leave on a loss? Or do we make that type of decision? Because we definitely do need to start moving on beyond him because we can't rely on a player that's
the reality is it's not going to be, there's no loss because of the financials. He's 7 years in, he's fully amortized. He's basically pure profit now, right? Think about that.
Oh, fair.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't go on a fray. As long as he doesn't go on a fray, I'll be happy. Yeah. I don't want him on a fray.
Right.
He's just pure profit because he's fully amortized over 5 years. Now, sorry, if I may, Vader, reporting for the CIA.
Yes.
Didn't I warn them about this thing months ago? About the UEFA 7-year rule and 5-year rule?
Oh, yes, you did.
Do you remember that? Yeah. I warned Chelsea fans. They laughed at me. I said, you can do 10 years if you want to do 10-year contract. UEFA's going to come back and bite you in the ass. Guess what they said? Well, in 5 years. I got to run my doctors here.
All right, respect. Thanks for being on the show, Gunnalorian Pitch Points. Make sure you tune in, subscribe to his channel, and get that notification when he's live so you can support the channel. I want to shout out my gal Rose. She wants to point out and say, Carl is so right. Bernardo is such a gem. He is. I agree. Make him an offer he can't refuse. I'll be sending some sunshine from JA. Respect, Rose. Thank you so much. He is a phenomenal player. I think Carl mentioned it earlier. There's kind of like 3 players in one with regards to Bernardo. Being able to play on the wing, play centrally, retain possession, and again, his his endurance level in terms of that tenacity from minute 1 to the 90+ minute, he's ferocious. Do we find a player like that? I don't think so. It might be a combination of two to do similar roles. But we can't. And I'm not saying that he's holding us hostage. He's not. But for a player that hasn't looked to commit for a longer term remaining here, maybe it's also a matter of he doesn't want to have to tap into all of this versatility that he does have, because he does work his butt off, and maybe he doesn't want to have to put in those type of shifts, because I watch him play and I'm tired. I watch how he's constantly up and down, left and right on that pitch, and maybe that's something that he doesn't want to have to really continue to do.
Good point.
Yeah, Dizzy-ish seems we're the ones bothered, not B Silva. Fair. He is kind of chill. He just got married. Congrats to him. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. Mr. Rollup goes, Bernardo was invisible in the FA Cup final. He's great and has his moments, but let's not get carried away with his greatness. He played a role, and I often say this. You can play a role, you can be impactful, and it doesn't quite show up in terms of GA. It doesn't quite show up in kind of take-ons. It's just you need a certain balance and chemistry on the pitch. But that's for another day. Martin's gonna go quiet.
Only because I agree with that.
Fair. If KDB continues playing well and winning for 2-3 more years, will he have earned a statue? I think he does. I think this upcoming season, despite KDB being injured, right? And I think he's expected to come through around September, maybe later. I think even despite that, him being sidelined, I think is going to be a blessing, because he's going to see how he can carve up these ops. And I think he breaks his assist record next season. And in doing so, I think that's automatic statue worthy. But I don't know. That's for another time.
I'm not doing statues.
You're not building a statue for KDB.
I'm not doing statues. Well, we'll end up with more statues than fans at some point, the way we're going.
How many entrances? For every entrance, there could be a statue. For every portion of the outside Etihad.
Right, we'll get laughed at. Name me another club that has a statue at every entrance.
No, I'm not saying purposely just make a statue for a statue, but because there's entrances, and when you have a player that's arguably he's going to be a Premier League Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I'm not saying KDB might not get a statue.
Oh no,
I
was saying because you said we can't have too many. I was like, well,
no, because I've heard people said give Gundo a statue.
No.
Pep will want a statue. John Mercer's going to want a statue at some point. You're getting a Belley and Summerby statue. Yeah. We're going to end up with about 10 statues roamed around the Etihad.
Yeah.
And then you've got no more room for anybody else. Then in 10 years, if Gavardio stays and does this, does he get a statue? Does Diaz get a statue? You see what I mean? So to me, there has to be a criteria on a statue. Otherwise, everyone's going to end up with one.
We're going to name a training ground after KDB then.
Yeah, no, I thought that's what we did. Listen, and I've said this to you, I think we went early on the statues originally. I think we went too early on the statues. For the simple fact is...
You mean too early on the kind of like the newer generation of players?
Yeah, because to give Kompany, Aguero and David Silva statues, fine. But then people will say, well, they won our first Premier League. Great.
Yeah.
Well, this team have now just won our first Champions League, so they deserve statues. When does it stop? Where do we go?
I don't agree with the fact that they won a Champions League, they deserve a statue. But I do agree that if they again, this core to have gone to three-peat treble, and if they continue on, depending on maybe it's even not a statue, maybe it's more like Maybe it's like an in-stadium like
Yeah.
recognition.
Do you know what I'd have loved? Do you know the brickwork around the Etihad?
Mm-hmm.
Get names on there.
Oh, one of the sections with regards to they have the dates and some of the honors.
Do
right?
something like that, because the trouble is you're going to end up. Honestly, I'm not joking. You're going to end up with more statues than you will fans, and this then becomes the problem because you whitewashed all your history.
Yeah.
And then you go in, well, great, because that's what we've done.
It was like a Thanos snap with regards to
it's like we've forgotten that. Them statues have gone up. I mean, there is a Bert Troutman statue. It's in the foyer.
Okay.
This guy broke his neck in an FA Cup final and carried on playing and won us the FA Cup. Well, he's got a statue. It's in the foyer. So unless you're in a tunnel club, you don't see it. Sorry, that should be outside. But this is what I think we went too soon. Not because they didn't deserve it. There should have been a proper conversation. Let's think about what statue represents. No. United only have certain statues out there. Matt Busby. What's it called? George Best.
Manager related.
They haven't got Beckham, Van Nistelrooy, Jaap Stam, and all these others that have won trebles for them.
Yeah.
Solskjaer doesn't have a statue. Solskjaer hasn't got a statue, and he won, and he scored the winning goal to win him the 99 treble, if you remember. You don't have a statue of him.
Yeah, but he's more of a hero than a legend. But no, I hear what you're saying. I wanted to shout out. Alec goes, if I was Bernardo and my wife wanted out, I'd buy her a sunbed or get rid. I know you put that laughing emoji at the end, so I know you're just joking right there. I'm with you. There's alternatives. Like Bernardo needs to figure this out. Let's give Martin and Carson a statue. Man, Martin might have one. Actually, I don't think they'll do that. I think they might do.
You need a lot of metal.
What they would do for Martin, because I love what they're doing this. They're actually using a lot of drones instead of fireworks. I saw this recently. They used might have been 1,000 drones, and they made it look like a dragon, with regards to like a ceremony or a celebration. I think we should get kind of like drones and have one kind of like, instead of a blimp, we should have a drone and then make it look like Martin inside his vehicle and it's going around.
Oh, you're all right, mate. I am the blimp. I look like the bloody blimp.
This guy. DC wants a shout out. He goes, Vader, no. Then I'll look like the, oh my gosh, terracotta
exactly.
Warrior. All right.
It would look really fat. Hello, I'm a statue.
Should he be knighted? Should he? Will he? He'll be honored. He'll be remembered forever. I think the only honor should be naming one of the stands after Pep. Hey, that's fair. If you were to name it, it'd be difficult on where you do that because it couldn't really be named behind the manager's bench in any way because the current manager, you know what I mean? That's. But again, I think naming, I think sections, exactly. A lot of things can play into. A statue doesn't necessarily need to be the way to go. Give them a bust, inside. But again, where do fans attending games get to go and see? But I'm with you. Now, I'll be honest with you. The conversation was fantastic. Did I cover everything transfer-wise? Yes and no. I want to remind you for how I want to do things moving forward, and I need to update the group chat. But with regards to all of this, the City fans and how we've been covering CIA, we're definitely going to carve out. In particular, hopefully everyone's available. They'll have their particular assignments, right? United will be covered. Liverpool will be covered. Arsenal will be covered. Chelsea will be covered. Newcastle will be covered. Tottenham will be covered. So we're going to have that moving forward. What is going to be a huge assignment moving forward, and we're going to be dealing with this in the group chat, but I'm just letting you viewers, those of you in the comments know. Transfer window wise, because we can't all be experts on all things in the Prem, I get a chance to have Martin on the show. I'm going to reach to him and ask him about United. What are you hearing? What are some of the rumors? I'm going to reach out to Carl. He's able to be on the show and ask him, what are you seeing from Arsenal? what how are things moving? I'm gonna lean into Klilnical, and I'm gonna ask him, what's going on your end. Klilnical, I think you're leaning towards covering all things
Chelsea.
Liverpool, all things Chelsea. So I'm gonna tap into Klilnical, and he can talk about all things Chelsea, and obviously with True City Fan, with Hamza, with Don Smoke when they're available. We don't necessarily need to be an expert on all things, because when we come together, we can share information. So that's what to expect moving forward. This transfer window is going to be nuts. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I was already tired of it, because the rumors are spiking and then reality hits. So it just seems a vicious cycle. I'm not going to be contributing to all of these clicks. I'm going to wait for some things to kind of like hit home. But to be able to talk to Martin, Klilnical, Gun DeLorean, as well as the others, will be fantastic. So when you tune in each week to CIA Intelligent Agendas, we'll be we're going to debrief on some of those things. Let's also note, as a group, none of these rival clubs are going to get a bly for how they spend. Arsenal being top spenders doesn't mean that they can just go into a season to challenge. Whenever we've spent or we've acquired someone, we acquired Holland and Alvarez, as well as Ortega. And no disrespect from rivals, rivals were being very disrespectful from not even talking about the acquisition of Alvarez or Ortega. But as soon as we had Holland, they said City now have to go out and win Champions League. All right, huge pressure. Guess what? We did it anyways. The season before that, when we went and spent money on Jack Grealish, yes, 100 million. What did everyone say? We spent 100 million. We're now expected to go win in the league. We went out and won the league. That type of narrative, those type of agendas, that type of putting the pressure on does not go away. The way Arsenal are spending, the same narratives, the same agendas are going to be applied to them, as well as United, as well as Chelsea, as well as Liverpool. So we're going to be bringing you those intelligent agendas moving forward. Make sure to stay part of this show as best you can. Hit that like button when you can. Subscribe if you're new, and share it. Let me go to the last few comments. Did I miss this? Hold on. Marvin wanted to. Oh, where did you go, Marvin? One sec. Oh, my bad. Marvin goes, if KDB continues playing well and winning for 3-4. Oh, I thought I answered it. No, I don't think KDB gets a. Actually, no, I was wrong. I said KDB does get a statue. That's how the whole conversation came up, Marvin. I do think that him being assist league record holder, I think he's the next one to have gotten that. And because he was a player prior to Pep, and he would have been a player to have been through those 7 years of Pep, disappointing Champions League years, I think he kind of gets that. And he's been phenomenal. Arguably, one can say that KDB is maybe the best or the second best midfielder in Prem history. So
apparently that wasn't the question.
What that wasn't a question?
Yeah,
right,
apparently he's asking that. I don't know, something about me. Ethan's just was asking Martin to put in City. I don't know
goes, should we give him $1 billion a week, or will the wife say he wants Spain weather? Was that the question, Marvin? He's not getting again. If Bernardo's getting 120 now, if he gets double that, or if he's in the realm of Grealish money, like 300,000 a week, and he's still not happy, I think we got to say sorry, man. We got to say sorry. See ya. I think that'll have to be the case. Let me scroll through the comments. Sorry, Marvin, if I missed that. But I think if the offer was close to Grealish money and he turns it down, there's nothing we can do for him. There's nothing we can do.
I think the question he's talking about was sent at 3:43 p.m. So if you can go back to that time, you should be able to see it.
Let me scroll through.
Someone just put City are interested in Rodrigo Riquelme. I don't know where that's.
Sorry, Marvin. Marvin had a question for you, Martin. I'll read it. Question for Martin: if he doesn't mind, why did you decide to support City growing up, and did you ever feel silly or down for not supporting United, especially during their dominance. Marvin, you okay? First things first. Before you answer, Marvin, please subscribe to the Mancunian Way. Follow him on Twitter. Follow all of us. All of our details, channel details, everyone, pitch points, Klilnical, everything's in the description of this channel. So please click in, follow them. Martin has a very unique story with regards to him being a fan of Manchester City. I'm going to ask him to, I guess answer however you feel fit.
Simple. Born and bred Manc. Born at St Mary's Hospital. Literally a stone's throw from Main Road. My dad, all my brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles, all City fans. I was born into a blue family, and I was always going to be blue. Season ticket holder.
And he's being
far too many years than what I care to remember. Watched a lot of crap, watched a lot of good. More ups and downs than a roller coaster. Just listen, I got bullied as a kid for being a City fan, and that wasn't by United fans. It was by Stockport, Oldham, Bury, Rochdale, everyone. But no, there's an old saying: "City till you die," and you are. Mm-hmm. Once a blue, always a blue, and that's why I've said this club is different. You know, City fans don't flip flop from one club to another, and you're there through the good, and you're there through the bad, and it doesn't matter because we bleed blue, and that's what it is. I'm just your average Joe City fan. I'm just one of them, and I just love City. I'll talk City 24/7. Ask anyone. Ask Vader. Ask Carl. Ask Klilnical. Ask Andy. I'll talk City 24/7 with anyone.
Yeah.
And I've talked City at 3 a.m. in the morning on Twitter in a space. Trust me, I have. I'm just born and bred City, mate. But yeah, it's not a great. It's just a boring story, really.
Well, I mean, it's not boring because I remember back. I've known Martin now for 4 years, probably 4.5 years or so. And I know we have many debates. Him and I have many debates, but this gentleman here taught me so much about the club. I've been following the club now for probably 13, 14 years, but I learned more from him in the past 4 years than I learned in the previous 10 or 8. You know, the argument around the Champions League, the debate around it about why do fans boo the league, the anthem, and understanding where the fan base is and how the fan base is changing. And he's always inserting himself into other forums that are not local, you know, more of a global fan base. He carries the torch into those fan base to explain what it means to be a blue. And if you want to know what it's like to be a blue from the beginning, go to this guy's channel. He gets it. He really gets it. Mm-hmm. You may not always agree with him. I don't certainly agree with him all the time. But in the heart of heart, he's a good guy. He's a good blue. He gets it, and he's a great guy. So subscribe to his channel. Must watch, must listen, must enjoy. I do.
Yeah, 100%. And the reason why it's also a funny question sometimes when you kind of ask about it, because things happen differently now. Like the bullying or being talked down to or being, the trash talk that happens, that's not like how it is today. That's literally in person. This is like maybe a mob of friends or just, people passing by or, schoolmates. This is how these interactions happen. Not like how it is today where someone's messaging you over a social app or something like that, or saying that your club's trash or anything. These are people taking time out of their day, breathing the same air, touching the ground outside to tell you, haha, you're a City fan or da da da. So I respect it. I respect it at a different level as well. For
and you know what? There's Alec Johnson, there's Ander, and it isn't, like I said, it isn't just about us dinosaurs. It's about everyone. It's why I don't play this gatekeeping stuff for Manchester City's only for people from Manchester, because at the end of the day, and it's where I've learned. And like I said, thanks to these guys as well, I lost my City-itis last season. And anyone knows who City are, knows exactly what I mean. Yeah. The simple fact is, you've got to learn off each other. You've got to learn from each other, because the global fans do bring a different perspective as well as the local fans. Because at the end of the day, when we were down playing Wrexham, this was what our dream was. Our dream was to be the number one club in the world. We are now there. We're now at the envy of everyone. And it's just, it's something that is, I never, all I ever ask is, and I'll put it this, and I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it 1,000 more. All I ever ask for global fans, and I'm not even going to say global fans, fans from abroad or fans who are not in Manchester. Welcome every single one of them. All I ever ask is learn the history and the heritage of Manchester City, because we are a very different club than them over the road or them down the M62. You know, we're probably a bit closer to them down the M62 because they are very built on their past history and their past players. And we're very much the same. Do we have their rich history? No. Do we have our history? Yes. And all I ever beg is, this has to be a journey together, because one without the other doesn't work. Yeah. Because when Alec was, and Andy was, and everyone else, we were all new fans once, and we weren't accepted. Yeah. And we didn't like it, so the same has to revert back the other way. We can't gatekeep back the other way. But don't just jump on. None of these people here are Manchester City fans because City are winning. They're all here because they took the time and the effort to learn about Manchester City, learn the heritage, learn the history, learn the players. And I know if City are crap, this lot are still going to be in that foxhole with us. It's the fans who will jump to Chelsea and they become good. They're the ones you don't want. So there is a difference. There's a difference, and we have to be careful the way we word stuff.
And
that's all I would say.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that can be recognized with how some talk about their clubs while winning and while losing, or quote unquote being challenged. So everyone be a little careful, be very alert, pay attention. I want to say this as well before I sign off. We've been told that we're little old City, right? We've been told that we're a plastic club. We're told that we won the lotto and we were irrelevant. You can say all of those things will continue to be said. But I have not been able to go a day, all right? And this is whether it's consuming some YouTube content, being in Twitter spaces, or even coming across some things that are posted from some of the other pundits, right? And mind you, the pundits don't quite say this. It's more like, this is more rival talk. But not one rival goes through a day without referencing City. They will talk about how we're irrelevant, talk about how we're plastic, talk about how we have no history, or talk about we're little, whatever they want to say. But they can't go a day without talking about us. And they also can't go a day without saying that City is the standard. I love this winning culture that we happen to have. Whenever you say about, you'll hear Liverpool fans talk about how they want to spend like City. And then in another breath, you'll have United fans who obviously spend more than City will say that they want to strategize and have an infrastructure like City, right? City is the standard that everyone want to kind of bash out loud, but quietly admire and want to have. So let's continue to have that pride in our club. Let's not care about what they happen to say, because they talk out of both sides of their mouths. And we have a fantastic off-season transfer window to celebrate this three-peat trouble in, and we can deal with what next season is going to be all about when this transfer window is over.
Just to confirm, by the way, City have no interest in Riquelme.
Okay, let's come through. All right, you heard it here first.
So that was another PR load of garbage. You just be careful on these. City going after this guy. It's a load of garbage.
A lot of it is 48-hour clicks. They want to drop something, have everybody react, everybody contemplate, go back and forth, and then it's a vicious cycle with somebody else. Let me say, Edison in the building, he goes, if my club was the best club financially on the pitch, I would never allow new fans in. I hate bandwagons. Edison, that's not how it works, though. New fans can be new fans for all kinds of different reasons. The first time they're introduced to the sport, the first time they want to actually commit and decide on a team, the first time that they've actually maybe come of age to really pay attention to things that way. It happens at all different times. And one thing that I've recognized is some of the things that Martin mentioned with regards to wanting to learn, know the club, its culture, its history. That's also sometimes like an age thing. I've noticed that because it's often like at a certain age is when you're like, you know what, I recognize the appreciation of all things, and I actually invest in learning about it. So, man, Edison, I would never. I know you're not gatekeeping, but I would never do the we're winning. You gotta wait. You're on probation for a spell before you join the club. I wouldn't do that. But with winning comes new attention, and it happens. You, as an AC Milan fan, probably had a crazy influx of fans loving your club and loving your league when it was at its peak, right? So it just
in the 90s, they would have had a massive influx in the early 90s.
DC wants to say, well said, Martin, to what you were talking earlier. Alec goes, CBA listening to haters about charges, oil nonsense. Nah, man, I'm with you. Mo goes, facts. Look how happy Arsenal fans are for spending 105. When
not done yet.
When we've been slated for years doing the same thing. I hear you. We are the standard, Mo. We are the standard. Mo, they haven't got him yet. Ethan's agreeing with you, Martin. Edison wants to say, I only allow if they introduced to the sport. I hear you. All right, I hear you. And Alec, with the last comment of the show, wants to say, new fans always welcome at City. They need to learn and don't act arrogant like rags. And trust me. How do I put this? A big part, even before recognizing the concerted want and desire from a fan base to not be like them, even before getting that shared perspective, as an individual, I did not want to be like them. The way they talked and carried on, it's the worst. It's the worst. I could never be a Manchester United. I could never be a Devil fan. Even so, sorry, Klilnical. When I taught North American sports, I never liked the North Carolina Duke. Duke Duke University. They're called the Blue Devils. Yeah. I could never like them. I never liked the New Jersey Red Devils. That's hockey, NHL. It's just and I could never be yuck.
Trust me, I completely get it, 100%.
Yeah, it's terrible. Alec goes, a true fan is someone who supports no matter how bad we are. Facts. This isn't Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. There shouldn't be tests and challenges for new fans to complete. Welcome, everyone. I hear you, DZ. Dizzy-ish goes, LOL at, I would never allow new fans in. Nah, I hear you. Everyone, thank you so much for your comments on the show.
Get this guy to 500.
Slowly but surely, we'll get there. Slowly but surely. And if you...
I'll tell you what I do hate, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to jump. I'll tell you what I do hate. Alec Johnson hit the nail on the head. Half and half scarves. Burn them. Throw them away. Stop buying them. They're a disgrace. I've even seen half and half scarves at derbies. Do me a favour. Give your head a wobble. Burn them. Every single one of them.
No, so hold on. This is where I disagree with Martin. Continue to make them and sell them, because I think those that buy them, I think it's an automatic identification of you're just a fan of the game. Like you're not a fan of it. Like I think it's a way of identifying who's who in a crowd of people. So you're a tourist. Go away. Exactly. I'm accepting you as a tourist. It's all calm. I won't do anything to you. But nah, love as always.
I want to know when you're taking me up on my offer later. This offer needs to get taken up, son. Come on.
I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. It's gonna have to be a best way for me to manage, because obviously I'm crossing the pond and having things still work smoothly at home. Wife being the 2 kids.
Basically, Vader's in a Bernardo situation. As soon as he's told, like a good little boy.
I'm in a Bernardo Silva. I can guy to him a lot.
No, get him to 500. He's a top guy.
On my offer. That's what I want to know. I hear all this talk about, I'm the king of FIFA and I don't get beat. And then, when I'm using...
Hey, Klilnical, I'm still waiting for this.
Edison.
I'm still waiting for this.
Edison, in the
Your
comments.
invitation's on the table, Martin.
Edison, in the comments, let Klilnical know how nice you and I were at FIFA, man. Let them know.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you both my PS name, my handle, and then I can own you both.
Mine's easy. Mine's Vader. Mine's easy.
I'm still going to own you. Don't really matter what your name is. They'll be changing to you're getting owned.
You know what? I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to do this right now on the show. On the show. Next week, Sunday. I don't know the time yet. Everyone, CIA, all of you right now. Next week, Sunday, I am playing on Twitch. I will be playing Martin and Klilnical on a match next week, Sunday.
Is that this coming Sunday?
That's this coming Sunday.
Sorry, I won't be available. That's my birthday. I'm gonna be out.
I'm free. It's all right. I'm free. I'll whoop you.
Klilnical now has a birthday.
It's my birthday, and I have plans that wifey planned up for the entire day. I'm gonna be out.
See, here's another Bernardo Silva. Right, listen, breaking news. Sort your heads out, get the ball and chains off, tell your wives who's boss. It's what I do over there. Listen, doing this is... No, I'm joking. No, I'll be honest, I've just got a very considerate wife who allows me. By the way, anyone who does YouTube has a very considerate wife. Yeah. Because they have no idea what goes into this.
100%. 100%. Shoot. So, okay. Well, happy early birthday to you, Klilnical. You can't make next Sunday. We'll have to reschedule that one. But if Martin's free, we'll get the game in.
Oh, I'm in.
All right, sounds good. And now, who do you play with?
There's only one club I play with.
So how are we gonna do this? Are we gonna play City?
No, because you're a pace merchant, so you got to be Bayern Munich, Chelsea, or...
I only play with Manchester City. Edison, are you still in the comments? Edison, tell them I've only played with Manchester City.
No, because Sterling's left now. We don't play your fast wingers. No, we don't play the old fast wingers.
You got me messed up. I don't play that way.
I'll tell you what. I'll change then. I'll be Bayern Munich.
You'll be Bayern Munich? No, I won't make you change. Maybe.
No, I'll be Bayern. I don't mind being Bayern.
So what we'll do? Here's what we'll do. We'll play one game as City, and you have an alternate team, and then the other game, I'll have an alternate team, and you play as City, and we'll do that. And then if it happens to be 1-1, then we'll decide on what the tiebreaker will be.
Listen, I have 3 teams that I use.
Okay.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
City.
Yeah.
And the third one is a surprise. It's an international team.
Portugal with Ronaldo. I'm calling it now.
Nope. Netherlands.
So I play with Manchester City. I play with Lille, and I don't quite have
Jonathan David.
Lille, yeah, Ligue 1.
Proper pace merchant, innit? Can tell.
If it's 1v1, I'm pretty sure we can both use Manchester City though. Like you can both select cities. Just if we want to do that, wear different kits and stuff like that. But I've always used City, and my alternate would have always been Juventus, but I haven't used them in years.
If you want to see what a really good pacey team
is called now, Martin, I'm not a pacey.
Juventus. No, they're called Juventus now.
They are called Juventus in the game.
Yeah, they're called Juventus.
Okay. See,
no, the funny thing is, honestly, try it for a game. Use Netherlands.
Use Netherlands.
Mm.
No, Edison, what are you saying? I saw you play with Lyon once. No, I didn't play with Lyon. I played with Lille. I played with...
Where they come, his French-Canadian accent's roaming out now. Lille and Lyon. They're all coming out now. All right, Celine Dion, calm down up there.
Okay.
Celine Dion's out.
What Edison goes. Edison's being honest right here. He goes. He plays with Lille for Canadian national.
Would you stop that? Stop with a Celine Dion accent.
So I did actually, Edison, before Jonathan David was there, I was using Lille. Remember when back in the day when Pepe was there, I was using him. So all right, we're gonna make this happen. I know I'm falling behind with some of these comments because Martin's mislabeling me as a pace merchant, which is the furthest from the truth.
You said that, and I watched some of your old Twitch streams, and some of your friends on there were saying you were a pace merchant.
Yeah, they labeled me as a pace merchant.
See, this now proves I have watched some of Vader's streams.
Yeah, you're a scout.
And breaking news, he didn't wear a hat either. So you want to see Vader without a hat? Get on over on Twitch.
You were scouting me. I know. That's why you're so eager to play me. You figured out my style. Let me shout out Rose. Rose goes, Vader, I don't support any club that call themselves Devils. I love and respect my God too much. Rose?
Devils are bad.
Exactly, Rose. Yep. Exactly.
Big up Rose every single time, man.
Mm-hmm. Large up Rose. What do we got here? Imaxit Football, my guy. Respect. Face blue smiling. Face blue smiling. Face.
No, that's the question. Is it PS4 or 5?
I have a PS4.
I can do either.
Well,
what do you want?
I've only got PS5.
Oh, this guy. All right. Fair
it's
enough.
All right. I got rid of my PS4. I upgraded.
I think we should still be able to play because I have a friend that plays Xbox and we still.
You can do because it's PS5 can play across PS4. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. Edison goes, prove him wrong and play with Juventus. You want me to play with Juventus, or you want Martin to play with you? I've never played. Honestly, I'm
not playing with Juventus.
Oh, maybe he's talking. You might be talking to Klilnical. Juventus is the slowest team. Okay. All right.
And you're not allowed to play with All Stars, Adidas All Stars.
Oh, never.
And you're not allowed to play with
World 11.
What's the other one? What's that made up team called?
The World 11, you mean?
No, not the World 11. The other one. The made up team. No, they made a TV show about it. Pep was just in it.
Oh, the Ted Lasso one.
Did they put that team in the game?
You're not allowed to play with the Ted Lasso.
Oh, okay. See, this
Ted Lasso team's actually pretty.
This is showing you how little I've been playing. But listen, it's gonna be a great watch. It's gonna be a great game. I'm gonna refine my skills, make sure everything's nice and smooth. And we'll have that match against Martin. We'll have that match against Martin, and then we'll have that match against Klilnical.
I can tell you guys now what I'm playing. All of it is going to be live on my channel. So if you want to see it live, you can stay here on YouTube. No need to go.
Whoa, hang on a minute. I didn't agree to live streaming it. Whoa. That wasn't on the cards.
Well, that part's still in negotiation with Martin. We're going to come to an agreement, and here we go. We'll soon be.
Yeah. I'll get my agent on it. My agent will come in and have a discussion with yours.
I like what Alec just said. He goes, next PS5 game will probably include City and Charges. That's too funny. Let's see.
Hey, I am going to shoot because I know you want to leave. I remember Manchester City when I had to literally make them on PlayStation.
Well, you had to. You mean?
I'm talking like FIFA 97, 98, 99. City were in it. You had to literally make some of the people in.
Edison goes, watching that match will probably be more entertaining than the Milan next season. It might be. I got to get back into my ways. Listen, Edison knows this. When I was at my peak, IEGA season-wise, there's nothing I couldn't do in that game. I was talking trash while gaming, hitting sound effects. It was jokes. So
here we go.
If you want a little glimpse of it, look up _IEGA on Instagram, or look up Vader Games on Instagram. I have a couple of highlights where it's kind of like a little mixtape of some of the trash talking that took place. Check that out. Let me see you in the comments.
Is AC Milan still in financial issues? Because weren't they all having a riot because Tonali was being sold?
They're upset with him going, of course. But
no, but there was talk they were going to have uproar over it, like proper riots about it and all sorts.
Edison, let us know. Is AC Milan like? Is there some vicious talk happening? Let me know. Marvin goes,
they're not very
your pride is on the line. Marvin, listen. There's a reason why I've won the tournaments that I won in the IEGA.
There we go. Big talk. Big talk.
The only thing that's preventing the league from really getting back into it is because I don't think everyone has gotten the new system yet. Once everyone's got that system back, I think the league's going to kick off again, and in time for next season would be absolutely great. They're actually lucky. I'm gonna be real. They're actually lucky the league didn't happen this season, because the way City was playing, they would have been in like great form all throughout the year, and Holland would have been a monster. I probably would have won almost every tournament. I lost one. I'm lying. The one that I didn't win was I didn't win the IEGA season tournament, but I won the football summit. That year. So we'll get back to it. Edison, before I kick off, Edison goes, Milan is great. Oh, Milan is great in money-wise. They're good, very wealthy, but sold their soul for it. Okay. All right. So we'll get back into it. Alec in the building. Thank you for all the comments today. Rose, my gal, thank you so much for being on the channel.
Oh, breaking news. James Trafford has a buyback.
Ooh, smart.
So he's going to Burnley for 15 plus 2, but there will be a buyback included in it.
Okay. All right. You heard it here. Breaking news. Martin always with the news. Klilnical in the building. Today's Monday. It happens to be Canada Day weekend holiday for us. Tomorrow is July 4th.
Oh, yeah. Happy Canadian Day yesterday.
Thank you. And it'll be July 4th, so Americans will be celebrating tomorrow. And yeah, catch us next with a Why Always Me, as well as Mancunian Way. What day this week are you gonna have your show?
If there's nothing breaking before then, it'll be Thursday, and we're gonna. All I would say is go across to 9320 Pubcast if you can and watch a show we did yesterday with Andy.
Okay.
Dante from the 1894 group, which are very big at Manchester City. They're they're the ones who do all the flags and the displays. Talks about the boycott for the Community Shield.
Okay.
That was part one. I'm going to continue that debate on Thursday night, and I'd love people to be part of it.
Okay.
Because I think there's a bigger issue here. I don't think this boycott is enough. I think to get the outcome people want, then I mean, like I said, I'm still going. There's different reasons I'm still going to the Community Shield, but I've donated to the MCFC food bank. But there is a bigger issue here.
Okay.
I don't think the Community Shield's a big enough protest.
Gotcha.
I don't think the game is big enough. Now, what I found out is it's a test run. The test in the waters is that whether fans will take that bigger step to boycott a bigger game.
Okay.
Because fans over here are being royally screwed by kickoff times and where these games are being held.
It's like an audition, like an initial.
We're being dragged to Wembley again for a 4 o'clock kickoff for a Community Shield on a Sunday, and enough's enough now. People from the north are not going to keep travelling down to London for games. It ain't fair anymore.
Okay. Definitely tune into the show. It happened last night. Go and give that a listen, give that a like as well. Thank you, all of you in the comments today. The conversation.
Oh yeah, please go look at last night's show. We talked about audio. That's virtually done. Some minor details on that, but that's going to be done this week, hopefully. We also talked Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong is on a list. Not saying it'll happen, not saying it's close, but there is interest.
All right. And Klilnical, what you got? I know you're going into Sunday birthday week and all. Are you doing anything before then?
Well, on Wednesday, I'm still waiting for a confirmation, but I should have a United fan coming in for a derby game on Wednesday.
All right.
So yeah, we might be playing around 3 games, a best of 3. So I can't be losing to United. Definitely not on my stream. So definitely check that one out. I did a Spurs chat a couple of days ago on Saturday, and this coming Saturday, if you're still free, I'd love to have that Calvin Phillips conversation to discuss his current situation and if we should upgrade on him or not. Martin, if you're free on Saturday around 6 p.m. UK time, I'd love to have you on there as well.
I still have a lot because I have a lot to say on that.
All right. We got it here first. See, Thursday, expect something dropping from Mancunian way. Saturday, look out for Klilnical. Sunday, we'll be back with CIA as well as a twitched game of me versus Martin. And why always me might be Wednesday. We'll see how that works out. But thank you all for subscribing to the channel, getting that notification, follow me on Twitter. Love as always, and thank you. We'll catch you next week. This was episode 15 of CIA Intelligent Agendas, 3-peat Treble. It requires a squad change-up, and I know the transfer window is looking a little slow for us, but we know the targets are strong. And the way Arsenal, they're big spenders, United Commercial Club, you know that they're all going to be spending to try to battle us because this attempt at a 4-peat is going to be incredibly hard. So thank you for all the support. I'll catch you next week with another show. And this is Vader Games TV signing off.